Hi everybody, welcome to Harmon Speaks. Today we're in a really neat location. We're at Remedy Coffee House. We're located in downtown Knoxville. If you have a little time on your hands and you want a cup of coffee and a really great location, drop by. These are the friendliest people in town. Today I'm going to be talking with somebody I am delighted to meet. This is Riley, and Riley has an arm similar to mine. But she had to show out a little bit and have fingers on the end of hers. Well, that's okay, Riley. I'll be okay. I really will. Don't worry about me. Anyway, it's really nice to meet you, Riley. Thank you for being on my show.
Yeah, of course.
But tell me a little bit about you. How did this all get started?
Yeah, so basically, my mom didn't know that she would have a daughter with one hand, because back then they couldn't tell. So what the doctors thought was that I just had a blood clot, and that's what stopped forming my arm. Okay. So I got tested for like heart defects, any blood defects, and I'm healthy as a horse, just with one hand. And basically, I've never ever let it stop me. I didn't know anything was wrong with me really until another kid was like, "Hey, you have one hand."
Right.
Yeah, I have one hand. What's wrong with that?
Yeah. Don't you?
Yeah. So I've always been like really active in sports and school, and I really just do whatever I want to do.
Right. Well, that's why I wanted to interview you, because I'm good at none of those things. And I'm good at sitting in a chair and eating donuts. So, but anyway, so this is a blood clot?
Yeah, they just thought it was a blood clot. So like when your hands are forming, I'm sure you know this too, but like everyone's hand,
really.
Everyone's hands looks like this in the womb, and then it keeps growing. So mine stopped. Yeah, and they thought it was a blood clot. Yeah,
that's very interesting.
Yes. So yeah, that's probably why I have the little fingers.
Yeah. See, mine was a totally different thing, and I assumed because you had an arm it might be similar. But that's the bad thing about trying to guess why people have a disability instead of asking.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, then can you tell me your story?
Yeah, I can. I'm a result of amniotic band syndrome. Okay. Are you familiar with it? Okay. For those who aren't, it's during your mother's pregnancy, the interior layer of the amniotic sac for some reason shreds. Okay. And the baby gets tangled up in the shreds. As my mother used to say, I could never leave anything alone. So I got tangled up, and it was my fault, Mom, I'm sorry. And they wrapped around my arms and legs and prohibited growth.
Yes.
And for some reason, this had other effects on me. I don't have all my facial muscles. My face doesn't move like a lot of people's. So I'm going to be very young looking for the rest of my life. Except for the gray hair.
You don't need Botox?
I do not need Botox. My forehead cannot wrinkle. It's impossible. I have the laugh lines, and that's about it. So I'm going to look good forever, and it will not benefit any of you. But anyway, the hands and legs, of course, the way they are now. So that's how I got started. How did your parents react when they found out that you didn't have a hand?
Well, I was the firstborn, and my mom just loved me anyway. So I think when the nurse brought me in, they were like, "Hey, she has one hand." My mom did not care. She was like, "That's my baby girl. That's my first daughter."
Okay.
She's so excited to see me. Yeah.
That's great. That's
so
great.
they never. I think they did. They went through a lot of planning of like how are we gonna raise her. Right. But it was all like unconditional love. Yeah.
Right. That's fantastic.
And I feel very blessed to have them as parents.
If you go back and watch any of these shows. Loving mothers is a theme. My mother was fantastic too. You know, they brought my dad in, and it's, back when I was born, they didn't let dads in the delivery room, so they brought him in. My dad was a Marine drill instructor, so they brought him in and told him his son was disabled, and they probably used a much worse word back in 1960.
Oh yeah.
Probably told him I was crippled or something like that. I don't know now. But he was devastated. He wanted a Marine. He did not get one. But I don't think he would have gotten one if I had 5 hands and 6 feet. That's not my personality, but who knows. But Mom started off crazy about me. My dad was ready to sell me on eBay, because there wasn't eBay in those days. So, you know, it did not work out totally for me. But I got to write a book about it, so that's
I'm excited to read it.
Well, I hope you enjoy it. Tell me about when you started school. What kind of difficulties did you run into?
So at that point, my parents were like, "Oh, we want to give her everything she needs. We're going to get her a prosthetic arm." And this prosthetic arm didn't do anything. It really just looked pretty. So like it looked like a real arm.
And did it have a hand on it?
Yeah, so it had a hand. It went up to my elbow.
Okay.
And they were kind of like, it wasn't wooden, but it was like pretty hard.
Right.
And it was just like in this. So I always wore it, and we called it my helper hand.
Right.
But it didn't necessarily help me with anything.
Did your fingers move at all?
No.
Not
so
at
it was just
all.
still.
Okay.
And it was kind of heavy. So basically, see, I wore that ever since I was crawling as a baby.
Okay.
And with school, one of my first memories in preschool was I had this friend, and she loved my little hand, and she's like, I'm so jealous, like I love your hand, it's so cute. She'd always hold it. And so yeah, she was one of my really good friends. And
sweet.
yeah, I moved around a lot, so I moved 6 times growing up.
Okay.
And each time I moved, I'd explain like what's wrong with your hand.
Right.
Because especially little kids don't understand. And at that age, it was hard for me because I wasn't completely comfortable with being different.
Right.
But as soon as I explained, like, oh, this is just how I was born, most kids got it.
Right.
I was bullied in like second grade.
Okay.
And so I went home crying, and my mom was like, this kid's teasing me for having one hand. She said, Riley, of course you have one hand. All you have to say is, yeah, I have one hand, duh. You got anything better to say? So I want to say I didn't have that rough of a childhood.
Right.
It was more me, like, then starting to doubt myself, like, something wrong with me.
Right.
From what other people would say.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So the bullying didn't really kick in the 3rd grade?
Yeah, I guess that's when I got bullied, and then I think middle school is the hardest. I mean, any kid going through puberty is insecure, so
it should be
that's
outlawed.
probably when it was.
Yeah, I remember that.
That's probably when it was the hardest.
Right. For me, it started off right off the bat.
Yeah.
In 1st grade. Maybe it's a boy thing. I don't know, but I had a boy on the bus on the very first day. This is going to be a real shocker, but I said something that made him mad. I've done that for 61 years now. Proud of it. If you ever need to be mad, call me. But anyway, I don't know what I said. I don't remember. But we went off the bus. He turned around and punched me in the mouth. I went straight to the ground.
Oh my God.
So I was not much of a fighter.
Yeah.
But that's okay. We went on to be friends, believe it or not.
Wow.
So it was fine. So you weren't picked on too much. When did you realize you were going to start excelling?
Well, I never really realized it until I think college.
Honey, you've done a TED Talk.
Yeah.
Excelling.
No, I really.
She's amazing. If you haven't, how can they find your TED Talk, by the way?
Oh yeah, it's on YouTube. So if you look up TEDxUTK Riley Told, you'll be able to look at it.
If the disability community were recognized as a minority, it would be the largest minority group in the United States. Yet it is still a very misunderstood and underrepresented community. I've realized this myself as a below-the-elbow congenital amputee, which just basically means that I was born without my left hand. Having one hand has compelled me to reflect upon my own limitations, my own definition of self-worth, and the way I perceive the word disabled.
So basically, like I said, I always did sports, and in my head I was like, oh, I'm never going to be as good as everyone else, so I need to try really, really hard.
Okay.
And basically, like, one, that was a good work ethic for me to have, because I learned, like, hardworking and improving, but also I was really hard on myself.
Right.
Because, like, if I would make one little mistake, I would think, like, oh, someone with 2 hands wouldn't make this mistake. I can't do that.
Right.
So I would be really hard on myself. But, yeah,
Okay.
I don't know. Once I got in college more, and then I was more comfortable with myself, and, like, I've done some really cool things.
And that's great. I think that's fantastic. Don't you find that a lot of times people go one way or the other?
Yeah.
They push themselves really, really hard to excel, which obviously you have, or they give up and don't want to excel.
Yes.
Do you have any idea why we make that choice?
Probably you don't want to put yourself out there to be made fun of, or you don't want to put yourself out to fail. I knew one kid actually in my high school. He had a hand just like me, but I never knew because he always hit it. And yeah, you never know. And that made me really sad.
It is sad,
yeah.
isn't it? So other than the prosthetic on your arm, that was really the only one you ever had? Or?
Well, so you know, I'm sure you know, you outgrown like shoes when you're growing up.
Right.
So I have a box of hands at home.
Yeah.
I have 10 hands. And then when I went to middle school, 6th grade is when I got a really expensive one. It was silicone and hand painted, really pretty.
Right.
Again, doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
So since I was playing sports, I wouldn't wear it for sports, but I would wear it to school.
Right.
And eventually I figured out, you know, this isn't helping me. I'm not wearing them at sports, so why do I feel like I need to wear it to school?
Right.
And then that's when I stopped wearing that until 2 years ago is when I got my workout prosthetic.
Okay, great. I had to wear a hook.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have one of those. I started wearing them, I don't know, probably 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And when I turned 11, every time I go anywhere, I scared everybody to death with them. So I went to my dad, always my dad, and I said, I don't want to wear this anymore.
Yeah. They wanted to give me a hook too when I was little, and my mom was like, my baby girl isn't wearing a hook.
Right. Well, it's a horrible choice for anybody. It really is. I think at one point was given the option to get the hand prosthetic.
Okay.
And back then, the hand would open and close.
And would you have to wear something on your shoulder? Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
The hook did too, all the way around to this arm.
Yeah.
And went under that arm. And I flexed the back and it would open and release and it would close. But, big deal. That doesn't do anything really impressive. Yeah. So I didn't do it. The only thing I found that I could do with the arm that made it useful is because of my prosthetics, I could touch an electric fence and it didn't shock me.
Yeah.
But my dumb little brother would come up to where I was and I'd tap him with the hook and that metal hook would shock the crap out of him. He'd shock me too, but it was worth it. He'd come up and, hey, bing, and it was awesome. It was the best thing
Some
ever.
brotherly love.
He still won't talk to me, and I don't blame him. But it's just the way it is. All right, now, in college, have you found any challenges in college to be having one hand?
I'm going to say no.
Okay.
Because I am so comfortable with myself now.
Okay.
So
I hope everybody heard that. That's a great comment.
Yeah. So I think when I first made my friends, they were kind of hesitant, like, do we need to help her? Do we need to offer our assistant? And they never did. Right. Because they figured, she's been living like this for 18 years. I'm sure she can take care of herself.
Right.
And I've never had teachers or anyone else on campus say anything. Yeah.
Well, I think finally we're getting to a point where people understand you.
Yes.
They know if you need help, you'll come ask for it. Hopefully, you would. And so I'm glad to hear that.
I did get on Tinder when it first became a thing.
Okay.
Or when I was old enough, I guess, to use it.
Right.
And when I didn't have any pictures of my hand, I got a ton of matches.
All right.
I was like, I never met anyone on it.
Right.
I was like, I might as well just put some pictures of my hand. And then the matches went down. And I mean, I was like, that's a really good filter system.
Yeah, that is, isn't it? It is. And usually, when I would date back in the, early part of the century, I knew the first date if this was going to work.
Yeah.
If they're uncomfortable, they're not going to get comfortable, not really. And when I went out with my wife, we got along great. She didn't care. Aww. And actually, at one point, I love this story. We were on a date, and we were going to a movie that was across the parking lot from the restaurant. And it began to rain, and the rain froze. Okay. So it was an icy parking lot. I can't walk in ice. So when we went outside and saw it was icy, I said, now, I'm going to have to ask a favor of you. And she said, what? And I said, I can't walk on this alone. Do you mind if I balance myself on your shoulders and slide along behind you? And she said, why? And I said, well, we haven't gotten to this yet, but I don't have feet.
Oh, so you're wearing pants?
Yeah, okay. So she didn't know, I don't usually do the first date in shorts. Way too much, truth at once. But anyway, I told her about that, and she looked at me and she said, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to let you do this, and, excuse me, we're going to go over to the theater, and then you're going to pull up your pants leg and show me you're wearing prosthetics. If you're not, I'll never see you again. And I found myself going across the parking lot, going, okay, God, you're right. It would be funny to give me feet right now. It would be funny. But I kind of like this girl. Please don't.
Yes.
And we made it across. I shoved her the prosthetics and we were fine.
That's so sweet.
But it was funny. And then, of course, we wanted to talk about it. We talked about it. And they said, you know, of course you married me. What choice did you have? So, just kidding, honey. Please don't leave. All right, now tell me what you're majoring in at UT.
I'm majoring in biomedical engineering.
So you're very smart. That's good.
Thank you.
What do you hope to do with this?
Yeah, so I started biomedical engineering because I thought I wanted to go into prosthetics.
Okay.
So during this time, I didn't really know a lot of other amputees, and I knew a few through my prosthetic office. So I figured that's what I want to do. And so I started biomedical engineering, and I realized that the technology of prosthetics, especially for arms, it is almost stagnant. And since I prefer not wearing one, why would I want to work on making better? Like, I would want to work on making better prosthetics, but that isn't necessarily within my realm right now.
Okay.
So then I kind of shifted. It's like, okay, I just want to be a regular engineer. And then I want my hobby to be the amputee community. So I got involved in the Amputee Coalition, and I go to their summer camp every year. And then with school, I want to be basically a design engineer. So I really like designing things on the computer and then sending it out to a manufacturer to make and then testing it and analyzing it. So yeah, so I worked for Siemens Healthineers for a year, where I helped make PET scanners. I really liked that. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
so
great.
I enjoy making prosthetics for myself. Like, I made my own attachment just for fun, and I think that way I can make
an attachment for what?
For my carbon fiber prosthetic hand.
Okay.
For my sports prosthetic hand, you can change the attachments.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I made my own attachment for fun, and basically, I feel like if I made prosthetics my job, I wouldn't have as much fun with it than if it was my hobby.
That's fantastic. Don't give up on prosthetics altogether.
Yes.
We're way far behind from where we should be. I know that I read an article about at the University of Chicago, they were working on a prosthetic arm where each finger worked individually. And they could play the piano with it.
Oh, wow.
And I've always said if I could get two hands that would play the piano, I'd buy them, but I won't. But it's a cool idea.
Yes.
And I hope they continue to expand.
Same. And I really love like the evolution of leg prosthetics. I think the technology for legs is a lot more than for hands. I don't know if you would agree.
Well, if you're bilateral, which means missing both feet, there's not a lot.
Okay.
You know? And they've done some improvement. The ankle bends now.
Yeah.
Which it didn't used to. But it can't do this. You can't.
Oh, the heel strike motion.
Right. You can't get the stand on the toes. And
Yeah.
get it off. So running is impossible.
Yeah.
You know, you do a fast model, is what I do. And that's okay because I'm not a runner.
Yeah.
But I would like to be able to have that ability. And I know they have those C-shaped.
Yeah, the blades.
Yeah, but that's usually for above the knee amputees. Because they're fairly high.
So I know little girls from my camp that their legs go down to here and they still wear the blades.
Yeah, but mine go way down to here.
Gotcha.
They would be very small blades.
Yes, that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think I just fall on them. So,
yeah.
But I do hope they keep coming up with new things and trying out. Okay. What's ahead for you? What do we need to look for you next time? What will you be doing?
Well, I'm graduating this year,
okay.
So I'm looking for a full-time job.
Great.
I'm getting a patent on the device that I modeled and designed.
Right.
And besides that, just living life. I have a cat, taking care of my kitty.
Oh, goodness. You can't
and
help that.
I'm enjoying time with my boyfriend, so yeah.
Fantastic, fantastic. Well, I think you're an amazing person.
Thank you.
I'm really, really happy we got to meet.
Me
and
too.
do this for the show. Thank you for sharing your story. And you're an amazing person.
Yeah, you are too.
I think I'm going to be hearing about you for a long time, and I really am excited for you.
Thank
Thank you for doing your show.
Of course, thank you.
And I want to thank you for watching the episode today. If you are a person with a disability and you're afraid to get out in the world, you're afraid that somebody's going to make fun of you or you won't be able to do something that you want to do, please put those fears aside. It's a whole new world out there today. what it was when I was first born. And it will be even better if you contribute instead of run. So please come out and be a part of what we're doing. If you're, if you're not a person with a disability, thank you for watching and trying to understand and be a part of what we're doing. Please join next week. Please like and subscribe and be a part of what we're trying to do. We're trying to make it a better world. Thank you and goodbye.